Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Reduce your ping time and get faster speeds when you game at expressvpn.com/funhouse. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Funhaus podcast recorded Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. I'm your host for today, Elise, and we've got a full Funhaus here. We got James, we got Dan,
Hello.
We got Ryan. Hey, everybody.
Can't you?
Hey.
Matt, Elise.
Oh, Ryan's doing like a really good,
It's gonna be a good gag. It's gonna be a good gag.
It was a callback to what just happened a minute ago.
Get Omar on so we can fix it.
How are you all doing?
I'm wonderful. Week 51 of quarantine. We're almost there.
Are we still counting by weeks?
Whatever.
We're nearing
It's like
the
day
year.
51.
It's been a
We're
year.
nearing the year, baby.
It's like
Feels
11 months.
feels like home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is your home.
You finally got something to cover up that window in the background, Ryan. I'm very happy about this.
It's my cheetah
Yeah.
blanket.
For our
I was
audio
gonna say, it definitely has a
listeners,
print.
Usually Ryan is backlit, but now he's got some real
Lit,
production
yeah.
going.
All of our audio listeners are going, who's Ryan?
We have a fun show for today. It's a very speculative show
Ooh.
because we're talking about some things that have yet to be, whether that's game development or animated shows or what science holds for the future of apes and mankind.
And Pong.
But to kick it off, I gathered the three of you here because you're espionage aficionados or Bond aficionados or just movie buffs in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it'd be fun to talk about IO Interactive's upcoming James Bond game, Project 007.
Oh, shit.
Nice code
Which,
name.
that's their secret name.
It's like when films want to film something like really important, but they can't like call it Avengers 4, so they make a bunch of signs of the code name for it. Except in this case, the code name they came up with it was like Captain America, Iron Man, and Star-Lord all filming right here.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a bad sign for someone making a spy game that they're not good at
that their
secrets.
code names aren't clever.
Yeah, that's true.
No, Project 007 is the name that they've publicly given to it, and they released a little teaser trailer, kind of just showing off the Project 007 logo. If you're not familiar with IO Interactive, they are behind the wildly popular Hitman franchise, which Hitman 3 just came out last month, and it within a week was profitable. It just destroyed, and
That's pretty good.
so it's pretty exciting to learn for a lot of fans of Hitman and not even Hitman that IO is helming a Bond franchise, which they think could last up to 3 games, even.
Sure. I believe it.
James,
So
we've been doing a Hitman series at Funhaus, so you've been seeing a little bit of it, right?
Yes. Yeah, I've seen at least the first 3 missions for Hitman 3. Played through the first 3 missions for Hitman 3. It's really good. Honestly, like, I've played a lot of Hitman just by nature of doing this job. I've seen a lot of it and how that franchise is developed. And basically, once they turned it into kind of like when they did the reboot of the Hitman 1 and treated it as like, we don't need to worry about like cramming this game full of so much stuff. Let's focus on like the pure mechanics of the game and then release the game more frequently. So like if you log into Hitman 3 and you own the other 2, all those missions are in the service or whatever.
That's cool.
It really lends itself to the game, but it's a lot of fun. They've really perfected the format of breaking and entering and disguise and espionage and assassination.
I don't know. Is there like a 007 costume in the new one where they just put like a wig on him? And that's
There
gonna be
are
the
a
new
lot
game?
of costumes. I mean, there are a lot of costumes. When we logged in to play Hitman 3 for Funhaus, 2 costumes were unlocked. One was a clown costume, and another
Sounds
one
about
was
right.
like an oil baron cowboy. So it probably wouldn't be too hard to put a James Bond skin in if they wanted to.
Didn't they do a Hitman spoof trailer a few years ago?
Oh, did they?
Or pardon me, they did like a Bond spoof trailer where Agent 47 did the gun barrel thing.
Shoot
I
into
think
the
that
barrel?
if I remember right, I feel like they did. So I think this is like a perfect merging of IP and studio.
Good stuff.
Because it's already, it's like a studio we know that can walk the walk with this type of content. I think the really exciting thing is that they're not relying on a past, like they're not looking to a movie Bond to make a game about. They're creating an original Bond character, a new Bond that's also like a prequel storyline. And I know James is a big Bond fan, but like Dan and Ryan, what would you say your kind of, level of Bond fandom is or background?
I always become a big Bond fan when a new movie's coming out.
You're a fair
I
weather
love the
fan.
series. Yeah, I guess fair weather. My wife and I actually just started watching it again from the beginning, and I really do love old Bond. So I'm curious. I'm sure it would take place in modern times. I think there's something I love about Cold War Bond that's lost a little bit in modern times. The prequel thing is interesting.
Just like the Cold War being the height of kind of the spy era, I feel like, as we think of it being like the cool spy era, at least.
Well,
Sure,
it's like
before technology
there were bad
ruined it.
guys. Yeah. There was enemy territory. There were all these things that like you needed to invade, and for Bond to be set out on a mission to invade or fight back the growing influence of the enemy invaders was like such an easy concept to understand.
The world might have been a little more black and white back then, I guess. I do think there's a lot
The world
with,
is not enough.
with his gadgets and and his old school spy tech that might be lost in a world like ours where most spying's probably done by hackers and on computers.
Yeah.
I am a medium Bond fan, meaning I really love the idea of James Bond. I just haven't. I've seen like a fraction of the movies I should have seen. Like I've seen I feel like 9 or 10 of the million that there are, and which on any other series would be a lot of movies to have seen. Like, oh, I've seen 9 or 10, but I feel like I haven't seen enough to call myself an encyclopedic Bond fan. However, I love Austin Powers more than anything.
Good.
So I feel like that makes up for a lot of it. But when it comes to Bond in the video games, obviously the gold standard has to be GoldenEye, which I'm the shit at, and I think is an awesome video game. But I think that I wonder, are they going to be are they going the same route as that, or have video games changed so much that it's a totally other genre of video game? Because to me, it's hard to make a spy video game. The only other one I have to compare it to is the Mission Impossible video game, which I thought sucked. When
Well,
this
Golden-
new-
Are you
Nintendo
talking about that-
64 one?
That N64 one?
Exactly.
That was terrible.
And
But they did
GoldenEye's
try
not
and make
like,
a spy game.
yeah, GoldenEye is different too. And I don't know about you guys, but I haven't played any of the re-releases of GoldenEye that they've done, but I have tried as an adult to plug in an N64 and play GoldenEye, and I cannot tell what is going. Like, I can't see which way is up.
Too many
It's so-
squares.
Well,
Yeah.
Even in the multiplayer mode, it's so fun.
Also, the thing about GoldenEye and the Nintendo 64 controller is they hadn't perfected the analog stick. So when you play it, it's switched. How we've all taught ourselves to play now. You have your other hand like doing the looking and stuff. And like the trigger is on the left side, whereas we've basically kind of, as games made the default trigger be on the right side now. Everything's all flipped around. But I still really enjoy it.
Grew up on it.
James
So-
and Dan, have you guys played any of the other James Bond games?
Like
Played
do you
one of the
mean-
Brosnan games.
Oh yeah, like well they were there was a cool era. I've loved James Bond for forever. It's always been like a comfort food for me that I always come back to. But because they had like obviously GoldenEye was huge, but then Bond movies weren't coming out at a rate that they wanted games to come out, so they started doing other games like what is it? Not Spyfall. They have this one because they would basically have Pierce Brosnan is Bond in a game with a Bond girl. Shannon Elizabeth is in
Perfect Dark.
Well, that's yeah. That was basically the spiritual successor to 007, but GoldenEye. But they had other games like so. For there was a point where they were like, okay, we got Sean Connery's likeness. And so we're going to release From Russia with Love, a Bond game. But then they had other ones that were just like, it's called Everything or Nothing. And it's an original story for that. And they'd have to write original Bond themes. And so and then of course they did 007 Rogue Agent, which isn't even a James Bond game. You don't even play as James Bond in that. They were just kind of capitalize on like, or sorry, not Rogue
Did you play a
Agent. The
different 00
GoldenEye.
agent?
GoldenEye, they made a GoldenEye sequel. Except that everyone was excited for it, and then it turned out you played as someone with a literal golden eye, and you're like, wait, hold on.
Really? The last game was
That's
like,
very
was it
confusing.
007 Legends, where it was like all the Bonds?
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't even know anything, because there was a Quantum of Solace game that came out that you could play as Daniel Craig. Most of them were just like third-person shooters.
Yeah.
That's what most James
I guess
Bond games were.
that's what I'm hoping IO doesn't do, is just make another shooter game. I mean, I'm guessing not, because I think a lot of those Hitman games, you can like run through it guns a-blazing, like we've been known to play them. But I feel like the kind of the more complex scenario where you have to sneak into a room and plan a device to steal a secret, those kind of super complex, characters moving around and patterns might be a more interesting thing than just making a GoldenEye style shooter.
And I think coming from IO, they won't, because if you listen to the IO developers talk about Hitman, they don't really think of it as what a lot of people do, which is surface layer action game. They think of it like you're describing it, which is a puzzle game, because you're trying to find the most elegant solution and method to take out your targets. It's not like just go in guns blazing. It's like, how do you traverse these surroundings, and what order do you do stuff in? How do you hide bodies to elude?
That's
like
very interesting to me.
That to me is a more interesting way, especially like putting the secret agent like back into Bond would be really, really fun. Ryan's smiling. He's got a grin. He's got a...
Well, I just like the idea of a video game where you're literally sneaking around trying to hide. It's like a glorified hide and seek game.
That's what it is.
Where you get murdered. If you know, which I don't know if I would like a whole game of that though. Like
I think Ryan's like denouncing the entire stealth genre. Is what I like, because
Hitman IO's version of Hitman is the fun version of that monotonous mission in other action games where you have to sneak and blend in and do all kinds of stuff like that. They do a really good job making it be the fun thing. The only thing about translating that right into Bond is that while that is a cool kind of Bond that you don't normally get to see, I do worry that something will be lost if you don't have a level where you're racing a fast car through a city. There is a certain amount of Bond that Bond isn't really known for sneaking into places and stealing identities and like quietly taking out guards while he's working towards an assassination. I mean, 9 times out of 10, Bond, they'll like start and they're like, all right, Bond, here's your fake ID. You're just going to go to this place and say you're Charles Charlington. And he just goes there. And then they go, "Hello, Bond," and like that's
they all immediately know he's James Bond.
But he's just so good at being James Bond that no one really cares that his identity is pretty much well known. Like you think about Casino Royale, they're like, "All right, you play your game," but then as soon as night falls, they're like, "Let's kill Bond." So I'm curious.
It's dark outside; we can kill him. Well,
how they're going to
interesting. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say how they're going to capture Bond's personality in a game that traditionally has a protagonist with no personality whatsoever. Yeah. Like Hitman,
also in an era where
blank slate.
In an era where Bond's personality isn't exactly cool anymore.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I really hope that they lean into the sex, Dan, of James Bond, because James Bond is all about, of course, ladies. It's a big part of his personality. So I wonder how they're going to deal with that. Are you going to go into like cocktail lounges and you're hitting on
seduce
the
women that you know you're planning on killing later?
Well, Ryan, I'm going to blow your mind for a second. What if it's
there's sex in it?
What if it's her personality?
Yeah.
I don't know if they've confirmed that. Could this be a woman Bond? We don't know. I mean, it's probably going to be a man.
Prequel to every James Bond we've seen. It's
probably going to be a man.
It does the
Could you make your own
logo. 007 logo, but then as it comes to the camera, it adds little nipples to the O's. That's how they announce the female empowerment.
Could there not be like a creative character at the beginning and you make yourself Bond? This like their opportunity to have whatever Bond.
I think they're going to get turned into the double O's are going to get turned into giant balls, and then they get smashed with a sledgehammer, and then you get the nipple Bond.
Wow, that's big talk coming from someone with a butt on his shirt.
I think that it's going to.
Our audio listeners don't know that.
I'm not really into the creative character just because I'm more curious to see what they would come up with, like their take on a Bond. I'm kind of with Ryan where like I would be into a sensual, this is a ladies man player Bond in a respectful, consensual way, of course. I think I would be into a Bond that's like, appreciates and respects the women that he romances. Like,
of course,
I'm into that.
They have passionate affairs in exotic places around the world. I mean, it's except,
go everywhere.
obviously then there's those scenes in there's men talk. We don't need any of those in the 2020
No.
Bond.
Stay away from America, James Bond video game.
I don't really want a green Bond or a origin where it's like, this is James Bond and he's learning how to be. Not really into that.
But that's what prequel says to me, is like he might not, by the end of the game, maybe you're a 00 agent, but you start out in the Navy or whatever it was that James Bond, he wasn't always a secret agent. I don't know. That's kind of what makes me afraid a little bit. Whenever you say prequel, it's like, oh, that's an origin story. And I don't need James Bond's origin story necessarily. Casino Royale was kind of that, but I guess the thing I'm thinking in my mind, like IO and like Hitman stages, and I just watched From Russia with Love. So I imagine this like train that's the complete level is this huge long train, and there's secret agents in it, and like someone there is trying to kill you, but they're not trying to just come and shoot you in the head. So you kind of have to suss out who the secret agents are, and
But
I don't know.
That's cool.
Even in the world of Bond, though, like you want to make it accurate to the movie. It's like, all right, we're on the train. Now this level, you were on the train for 45 minutes, and all you have to do is kind of sit in your car and maybe have man talk with another man while asking your female person who's coming with you to just wait in there in the room and not die. Like some of those movies, that's what it is,
There's something fun about that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I have read some non-Bond novels, like post Fleming. I read Solo recently, and it is a Bond set. What's that?
I was just saying post Fleming.
Post Fleming, yeah. Post Fleming, and it's like it's a Bond of their own design, but it's written in a more modern day, but set in the past, and so like you get all these kind of mixtures of things that could maybe be good places, but it just still seems like whenever you look for pieces of Bond's personality, you're always getting like a little bit of Craig, a little bit of Sean Connery, like you're getting all these pieces of different things, and I'm more curious how they're going to inject that personality into the game. Because
question
Hitman,
on top of that.
Okay.
Do you think it's going to be a known actor getting mocapped? Too?
No, not if they're gonna. No, okay, that seems like an unnecessary thing, an unnecessary cost for the studio that they could be like why would they want to pay an actor when they could theoretically create their own Bond? That
Sales potential, maybe. It's like why animated movies cast like a million name brand actors in their movies. Like it doesn't matter to the quality.
Just make that note here.
There's also the fact that we don't even know who live action Bond is going to be in a couple of years. Daniel Craig only has this last one, and then he's
going to
done.
be the guy
for sure?
from Bridgerton.
Well, people are saying like Tom Hardy's in the running. Like there's questions like that. So it might be weird of them to cast another actor as Bond, and it also might be weird for that actor to come in. Dan Stevens,
because then he could never be Bond.
Dan Stevens, he reads for audiobooks a lot of the Bond novels, and he's really good at it. But I don't know that he would make sense as a Bond in general.
He's young too, and this has got to be prequel, so it's got to be young Bond.
I guess so, but
Bond novels it would sound boring to have one read to me. I feel like just an action scene, and then the bullet missed him barely, and then he ran more, and then that bullet missed him again.
That's the thing about. Again. I mean, I would say there's been long before movies existed, there were action novels. So like there is a way.
What's your problem with books, Ryan?
To put action in literary form.
I watch too many movies.
But you saying it's a prequel doesn't necessarily mean he has to be young, though, right? Casino Royale is a prequel, and Daniel Craig was one of the older Bonds when he took on the role. It's like, who's this 40-year-old guy who's just getting started in the spy world?
Not limpy old Roger Moore Bond is what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I don't really get about the. I guess it's Spawn or something where it's constantly being the mythology is crazy, right? Because you have all these characters that are consistent through time, but they never get old, they never die. They've lived through Cold Wars and other wars and stuff, and it's just Q is there.
Hold on, are you implying that Spawn is the same Spawn from medieval Spawn? Because it's two different Spawns.
I'm thinking of maybe Shadow or something. What was the Alec Baldwin movie?
Shadow knows.
Again, the mantle is
Saint?
past.
No.
Ryan's thinking of the Saint.
I'm thinking of I'm sorry, yeah.
There's nothing
The
that fits.
Phantom.
You're thinking of
When you don't read
Highlander,
books,
maybe
it's hard to
Highlander?
know.
The Billy
Phantom?
Zane's the Phantom?
Yes,
No.
I think I am thinking about Billy Zane's The Phantom, where he's just
that
like,
doesn't-
it's passed down throughout the ages, this character, but at least time goes on. Here, it seems like they're stuck. They're just stuck. Maybe this is my ignorance of James Bond. You can help me,
Just
James.
don't ask those
you read all the
questions.
novels.
Just don't ask those questions.
Just enjoy
Yeah, I
it.
mean,
Okay, I thought here on the James Bond podcast was the perfect place to ask.
It's a good question, but I think the reality of it is it's a franchise that's been going on for 70 years or whatever, right? So like, and it's changed actors, and each one, with the exception of like pretty much the Daniel Craig franchise, but even in that point, it's more just like kind of Casino Royale. Hey, Quantum Solace.
No.
But even more so, like there's very little connection. There's only a handful of movies that acknowledge what came before them, so they're just kind of they're all.
And that's what I think is
standalones.
cool, but it's also something that isn't really ever commented on or explained. It's just kind of like, oh, those other movies don't exist.
Yeah.
Here we are in the beginning of this adventure, and forget
I almost
everything
miss
that came
that.
before.
Like, I feel like with the cinematic universe world that we live in, I wish more standalone worlds could exist. Everything doesn't have to connect. I remember when they were talking about Quantum of Solace, that was during the writer's strike. So that movie sucked because they had people like Daniel Craig in the writer's room trying to crank out a script that connected to the last one. It's like...
Which is, I
don't
guess,
know.
one of the refreshing standing points about this IO game is they're like, no, we're not trying to base it on anything. We're just going to do our thing with Hitman. Which
I think it'd
is
be
fun.
cool
James, I was going to say, James raised a concern that I had, which was Hitman isn't really known for its driving sequences or that kind of gameplay, but Bond, like, you do want that kind of action sequence. And I know IO has like doubled their staff. They're flush with cash right now. They can bring in people to do that. So hopefully they do.
Yeah.
Gotta have that car where the guns come out, the headlights.
Yeah, the headlights turn over and there are nipples on them.
I'll
And
say
then the
this.
guns come out of there.
I'll
Yeah.
say this about Hitman 3. While it is still very much the traditional get into a place, and then get close enough to your target to kill and eliminate your target and get out as like the core mechanic of the game, I've already seen some fun things in Hitman 3 and just 3 missions that we've done that indicate that they are trying to reach out and and go, what are the limits of these missions that we can actually test? And so I hope that they use the Bond game as a real like wacky thing. Like, can you get in a car and drive the car somewhere, which is something you never really do in a Hitman game, or, you know, stuff more than just walking in, hiding your butcher knife inside your chef's costume, and then killing the target.
That's
you know?
what I've been reading about, is that they've been putting like weird little mechanics and secret stuff that you might not think that you can actually do something to interact with this object, but you can.
Without spoiling too much, the second mission in Hitman 3, you can turn it into a Poirot-style murder mystery. So, like, you basically,
awesome.
as you're going into the first thing, you can either sneak in through a window and do all your sneaky Hitman stuff and steal a guard's identity, or you can time it so that way you're going in the same time as an inspector is coming in. Knock out the inspector, take his clothes, and then you arrive, and they go, "Welcome, Inspector. There was a murder last night, and we need your help solving it." And then you go, "Very good." And then you are going around and doing a bunch of stuff like investigating the mystery, which is like, and theoretically, not going to spoil how it turned out for us, but theoretically, you can finish the mission as the inspector and doing all those inspector things and like
so cool.
get to the bottom of it. So like they're definitely experimenting with stuff and how you can do it to accomplish your overall goal of killing someone in a house.
In the middle of that murder mystery, can you sit down and play Baccarat versus the villains of the murder mystery?
No, I don't know if you can.
Oh.
Well, maybe you weren't playing it right, James. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to watching James play this because I feel like that's how it's going to go down. We have more stories to talk about, but first, a word from our sponsors. If you've got multiple credit cards, you know that tracking multiple balances, due dates, and website logins can be stressful. Upstart makes things simple with one monthly payment in one place. Upstart is the fast and easy way to get a personal loan to pay off your debt, all online, all those expensive Beanie Babies that you've invested in. Whether it's paying off credit cards, the aforementioned Beanie Babies, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get a simple, fixed monthly payment. Upstart finds smarter rates with trusted partners because they assess more than just your credit score. With a 5-minute online rate check, only 5 minutes, you can see your rate up front for loans from $1,000 to $50,000. That's a lot of quiche. You can get approved the same day and get and receive funds as fast as one business day. If debt is taking over your life, it's time to get a fresh start with Upstart. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/dudesoup. That's upstart.com/dudesoup. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you, please. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/dudesoup. Thank you. So we are back now. I was, kind of reaching out to the team. Asking, are there any stories that you're really jazzed about? And Ryan responded, and he wasn't necessarily jazzed, but he was really angry because, I don't know. It's a problem he's got with Monkey. I don't know. Basically, I'm sure Ryan will explain it better. I'll give you the in Canada, the Coles notes, as we say. But
it's 2021. News travels fast. I'm sure everyone out there knows that Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is rewiring monkey brains so that they can play Pong against each other.
It's not rewiring.
He's adding some wiring to a monkey
Just
brain.
adding.
Okay. Whatever he's doing, he's putting
Ryan only
wires in
read
monkey
that
brains so that
Musk.
so they can play video games. Monkey video game technology is finally
Hold on,
upon
wait.
this nation.
Monkey video game? You mean so the games are made by the monkeys?
No,
Ryan, I'm just really confused.
Eventually.
I'm confused. The monkeys are smarter than us now. Okay, do you realize this? They can play Pong against each other. Yeah, we're all confused. Monkeys can play video games now. The richest man in the world just made it happen. It's a freaking Bond villain come to life. Elon Musk with his lo-fi pop star girlfriend, baby mama Grimes, is taking over the world. They're going to have their own base on the moon with rewired monkey brains, playing video games, controlling all of us, and we're going to be basically the Pong units, the human Pong units that the monkeys play with in their brains while they make
Are you the paddle or the ball?
on the moon.
I got to dial it back here for a second.
Grimes' third pool on the moon. Yes.
I gotta dial it back because Ryan, I think you're getting maybe ahead of this. I do have some questions for you, but to the people that have not heard this story, Elon Musk is funding a Neuralink implant that lets monkeys play video games. So basically, inserting a couple uninvasive chips. The monkey's not uncomfortable as far as I can tell where the neural implant went in. And then, the monkeys can kind of control Pong using their brains. Is this the borderline of an Ender's Game type of situation? Monkey warfare controlled by the brains? That might be what Ryan's suggesting to you.
100%, 1,000%.
The Pong was real the whole time?
That's the thing. The monkeys don't know any better. They're going to be playing. It's like war games. They're going to be playing Pong. They think it's Pong, but really they're starting intergalactic warfare amongst nations.
I think what if they find a giant ape and they do this to a giant ape and they call him King Pong because he's the best.
That's terrible.
Oh my God, King Pong. That's so scary sounding and cool.
It sounds honestly like we're creating a pitch for the villain of the IO James Bond game.
It really blows my mind how Elon Musk can do things and like like it really does like fit into. I mean, I guess people do this every single day. We have countless millions of hours worth of media with which to pull a sense of morality of like what bad guys do and what good guys do, but it still doesn't stop human beings on a day-to-day basis from doing what's in their best interest, which doesn't matter if it more aligns with what bad guys do or what good guys do. But I still think it's great that we live in a world where the richest man on the planet does the things that a bad guy would do from a movie where the richest man on the planet would do bad guy things.
But he's also doing it to cure spinal injuries for people and stuff.
That's the same thing Lex Luthor says, though. Is like it's the same. No one goes
a cancer cover.
Altruistic intentions.
No one ever says Thanos didn't come in and said I'm doing this because I really get off on half the population of the universe dying. He had a reason too. That was pretty altruistic, like I'm sure if he snapped his fingers and he faded away, he'd be like, that was all part of it. But no,
you're right.
You're saying we're like one physical deformity for Musk away from him being some sort of supervillain.
I think it's more that because I think it's cool that we have scientists and people with that like work in these technologies doing these things because of the altruistic purpose of fixing spine injuries or figuring out how we can provide better accessibility for people. If all you need is a functioning brain, then think about what that could do.
Count me out.
Mostly functioning brain.
Joke.
Think about what you could do for people's accessibility or the longevity of life and our well-being in a lot of cases. Sure, there's a lot of dark ways you could go. It's more that Elon Musk puts himself in it as the figurehead of it, even though he isn't the scientist working on it. He's just
part of his game.
I have so much wealth that I can finance this thing, and look what and then he stands as the curtain falls behind him and the monkey's playing Pong looking sad in a cage. And he's like, I have done this. And that's the thing.
That's part of his game, though, is it's a big PR scheme that he's convinced people he's some sort of genius, but he just buys bunch of these companies up.
We also just haven't had an insane, wealthy maniac like this yet. You know what I mean? There are maniacs out there that have these ideas, but he's been the first that has the money to do it.
Well, Andrew Carnegie 100 years ago said, I'm going to build big building lobbies and tons of railroads. So that was the equivalent back then of him going a mural larger than anyone's ever seen.
I honestly don't think people would be making such a big deal about this if it wasn't the video game aspect of it, because they were doing this a year ago. Neuralink was demonstrating this on a pig named Gertrude. Cody, roll the clip. They had Gertrude wired up. They were trying to predict her movements.
Cover this on a podcast?
Charlotte's up in the web being like, this ain't right.
Yeah. Help that pig. It says in the web. Help
this
pig.
Controlled pig right now.
We're in a pig's brain right now, right?
It has a chip in its brain and it's not dead, I think is what they're showing off.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the link between the Neuralink and people with spinal problems.
Well, I mean, if you using purely wireless
brain
signals
power,
from your brain can send those signals somewhere, it's the same as asking your, I'm not going to say it, but your Amazon wireless device to play a song for you, right? Imagine if all you had to do was think it, what's that unlocks when you combine it with technology.
I get it.
Yeah.
So it's I think about wanting more potato chips and then I ordered them and they're at my
Pretty
door.
much.
Yeah,
I mean, the good version of it. Yeah.
Something, control robot or something.
Yeah, I was say, or if you're a paraplegic or something like that, and all your spine physically doesn't work, that you can't send messages to your legs to move them, but you can have machines that do it because the machines have a Neuralink or whatever. So I get that.
It'd be kind of frustrating if it glitched out sometimes, where you're it's all right, I don't want to add chips to my grocery cart, but it's okay, add chips to grocery cart, and then you can't just uncheck the box. You're literally having to think, no, uncheck it.
But you want it, Ryan.
Another one
We've read your
Adds another
brainwaves,
one,
Ryan.
It's like
we know
Google
you
Glass.
want chips.
How do you do the undo? What's the undo button on your brain? That's what I need to know.
You just added more chips.
Yeah, he just did it again. So as if this news wasn't infuriating enough for Ryan yesterday, there was also a study that came out of MIT because they have spinach sending emails. Ryan was so fucking pissed off when he heard this.
I like
now
this
it's
one.
The spinach. This one's really interesting too because it's just that spinach can detect explosive materials in groundwater. Like plants are super intelligent in that way that they can tell if there's going to be cold weather coming on. They can tell so many things about the world around them. But spinach specifically can detect the presence of explosive materials in groundwater through the carbon nanotubes in the plant. And so these scientists have been using a thing where the plant emits a signal that's read by an infrared camera, which then sends an email alert to the scientists. Look at Ryan's face. He hates it.
Yeah, what do you have against
I
plants?
told you that monkeys rewiring monkey brains to play video games is one thing, at least. But I completely draw the line at spinach sending emails. Are you shitting me? When is this going to stop? All right. By the way, who owns the at Popeyes.com email? Because that thing should take off. I mean, that's something you should invest in right now. Because then Popeyes is going to have the best email service. Think about it.
Because of the spinach.
You should run for Congress. You honestly sound like a pretty successful politician right now. Because I can't track a single thing you're saying, but it all sounds somewhat inflammatory.
I'm thinking he should develop a cult of personality. Something about hating vegetables.
Yeah.
So what you're
Ryan,
saying?
you have strong demagogue energy.
So
Thank you. I didn't take all these as compliments.
I'm going to try and track this back. So what you're saying is that whoever owns Popeyes.com, because Popeye was a sailor man who enjoyed spinach, will have an advantage because if spinach is going to be sending email and they have their choice of domain or whatever, they will choose the one. I feel like that would be the last likely one they choose because Popeye is their enemy.
One.
Is it not Popeye's chicken?
Yeah, probably
It's definitely
Popeye's
the
chicken.
Place. That's Popeyes.
But that's a different. I know he's the mascot of Popeye's Chicken, but he originally started out eating
not the
spinach,
mascot of Popeye's Chicken. He's not the mascot. It's just
I know
the
that
word.
I've seen him around there before. You guys know what I'm talking about.
What is it? Hold on. What's Popeye's real name? Someone told me.
Sailor
Sailor
Man.
Man.
No.
Two idiots
the name?
answered confidently immediately.
What is it?
It's probably the Sailor Man.
The Sailor Man.
But yes,
You
that
guys
is
keep
exactly
talking.
what I
I'm
was
going to look
saying,
into
James.
this.
That's exactly what I
Okay.
was saying. Is that they'll have an immediate
Popeyes.
advantage, and so it's they'll be the new Gmail. They'll be the new Google. We don't need a new Google. I don't want spinach to take over. Big spinach to take over. That's all I have to say. Is fuck all that.
So
It sounds.
can I step back again to the spinach itself?
Yes,
so
please.
the spinach has some sort of reaction when it finds something in the soil. So it changes its heat signature, and it's some sort of camera that's reading that off the spinach that sends the email. It's not the
That's
spinach
mine.
emailing.
That's mine. No, the spinach itself does not touch a keyboard.
Okay.
Is my
That's
understanding.
pretty cool too.
Oh, I've been totally wrong about this.
Did you think that like the leaves of the spinach morph into hands and then they're like
Look,
typing a
if
message?
Elon Musk can rewire a monkey's brain, God knows, I'm sure someone's rewired the little veins in a spinach leaf, okay? I don't know. Things surprise me all the time. I just saw robots dancing to Who to Love, a couple of weeks ago. Like, that freaked me out. And now spinach is sending emails so quickly. It's like things change so fast now. They can't keep up.
They do, James, any findings?
No, maybe did I dream this? Maybe I dreamt this. Someone I
Popeye
could have
had
sworn
another
someone
name?
told me that Popeye's real name was something else, and because like how olive oil is like a turn of phrase or whatever. Someone told me this, and I don't know.
Like
maybe it was
Popeye is like kakarot. It means carrot.
something like, or like Popeye is like
Short for something.
hot dog or something like his real name is like two words that combine to make food.
Who's
But
seen
I
the
can't-
happening?
I can't find it anywhere, so
Oh no.
you guys keep doing what you're doing.
The trees are the bad guys. The spinach is the villain?
Is that what
What
we're
if they-
worried about?
Yeah.
What if they notice all the explosive material and don't tell us? And then we explode.
Or
I
what
could
if
see
they...
Oh, sorry.
I was
go
just
ahead,
gonna say,
please.
what if they
We might be on the same
immediately-
track.
They know what we have done to all their ancestors for all these years. They immediately are that conscious and aware that they're like, you guys just eat us in salads all the time. I'm going to fight back, and I'm going to send you guys mean emails about it.
And combining the two of what Dan just said and you just said, Ryan, the spinach detect the explosive materials, and the spinach is like, what the fuck have humans been doing with Mother Earth? Mm-hmm. This is unnatural. And then the uprising of the spinach.
And then they ignite all the explosive materials, and then boom, kaboom.
Wait.
Oh, no.
Why would the spinach destroy the planet that they're upset that we're destroying?
It's just like a big
got a
fuck
plot
you to
hole.
us, just like a suicide
that
pact
is-
with Mother Earth, because they know
Dan's
they'll be
right. That's a
regenerated
major
on
plot
another
hole.
planet.
I do
major
think
plot hole.
We can figure
the
it
evil
out.
spinach could be in the sequel to the IO James Bond game.
Yeah, we're writing a great video game right now.
Doing all of their work
Well-
for them.
The IOI people are watching this.
I really hope there's a
never-
level where Bond has to figure out the real name of Popeye, the cartoon character.
Because that's a code.
Yeah.
The whole
to
time his
get-
name was
to get-
Popeye. So
We're
I haven't
watching
found-
it over there in that square right now. James is.
I haven't found anything. I did. Popeye was born the son of Poop Deck Pappy
What?
and an unnamed
Hi.
woman in a typhoon in Santa Monica.
Mad Lib
Shortly
that
after his
together.
birth, his father Poop Deck left home and was never seen again, and his mother's fate was unknown, leaving the young Popeye an orfdink to be raised by an
fuck's an
orphanage keeper
orfdink?
who gave him the ID number of 185764.
Like Hitman.
Then there's several photos down, and it shows Popeye at age 12 with both eyes intact.
Wait, is that because he has one eye that's kind of like larger than the other?
Yeah, I guess something happened
Got
to
a
his
squint,
eye.
right?
I think he got
Yeah.
poop.
That's
in
Because he
the
was
deck.
jumping down.
Poop
Yeah,
Deck.
Poop Deck got a little too close.
Poop Deck Pappy is a pretty solid name.
Dude.
That really
yeah,
sounded.
I can't
That
find
entire
anything.
paragraph sounded completely fabricated from a Mad Libs.
It did. We need to go to a word from more of our sponsors, but maybe James will have some more info about Popeye after this. These days, online shopping feels like the only shopping we're doing. Am I right? And that's where today's sponsor, Honey, comes in. It's the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and automatically tests them when you're checking out. It's basically your online shopping personal assistant. And here's how it works. You get Honey on your computer. It's free. It's 2 easy clicks. And then when you're checking out on one of its over 30,000 supported sites, Honey pops up, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons for that site. And if it finds working codes, it'll apply the best one to your cart. I've used it, I think Sephora, Adidas, even Amazon. You can save a ton. It's really easy to do. And it's simple. As I said, if you have a computer, Honey should be on it. It can be on it. It's free and works with whatever browser you use. You can get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/dude. That's joinhoney.com/dude. Let them know. Use the code so they know that we sent you. Thanks, Honey, for supporting today's episode.
This episode of the Funhaus podcast is brought to you by Warby Parker. Warby Parker is committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores by providing eyeglasses, sunglasses, eye exams, and even contact lenses. Glasses start at just $95, including prescription lenses. Believe me, that's pretty good. Listen, I know that picking glasses can be super tough. You're basically picking a new face. So Warby Parker's home try-on kit is amazing. Pick 5 glasses, get them shipped to your home, try them on, show them off to your friends, your family, anybody whose opinion you really appreciate. Look at yourself in the mirror for days, pick your favorites, and then send them on back, and you get your glasses delivered to you with your prescription. No hassle. Warby Parker also has a pretty rad app for your phone, lets you do AR and see what those glasses are going to look like on your face before you even put them in your box to get them shipped to your home. Really helps you narrow down that field of crazy selection that Warby Parker has. Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. No obligation to buy, ships free, and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Free home try-on program. Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free by going to warbyparker.com/dudesoup. Again, that's warbyparker.com/dudesoup. Thank you, Warby Parker.
And we're back. Thank you, sponsors. James, any more interesting tidbits about Popeye?
Well, considering the fact that all of our ad read breaks are faked, I really have not had more than the instantaneous. That was almost like Back to the Future, where for us we see the car disappear in flames, and then Doc is standing there screaming, "We did it!" But for Marty, it's just an instant. That's kind of what it was for me. No,
Well, you hate to see it. Cody actually had an interesting point earlier. I can't help but wonder, Cody or TD for our listeners and viewers, I can't help but wonder who would make the best Bond from Funhaus.
Don Casanova.
no, yeah, Don would be real good.
Yeah.
I see Don as more of a villain.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay.
Well, maybe
I can see that, too.
he's more of a Javier Bardem Bond turned villain type.
Because he's just like kind of got that real kind of tall and lanky body that I don't know. It's just more villain, and he's so secretive.
Alana
I
Pierce, the
I
accent.
found
Yeah.
it, guys.
Alana would
yeah,
be a cool Bond.
Yeah, Alana would be a really
She
good
has
Bond.
accent.
I think I would be the best Austin Powers.
I agree.
Oh damn! I thought Ryan was going to be like, "No, I'm the best Austin Powers."
I found what I was looking for, guys. And I don't know. And again, I don't know who told me this. If this was in a video, we need to issue a retraction.
Okay.
But someone, it's apparently two different characters. So Olive Oil had a boyfriend before Popeye from the Thimble Theater comics, whose name was Ham Gravy.
Okay.
Okay.
And the person told me that Ham Gravy was Popeye's name, but nay, Popeye took over Ham Gravy's role in the comics because of his skyrocketing popularity. And then this goes on to talk pretty negatively about Olive Oil.
It's time to move on.
All right, okay.
Wait a minute.
There is a
no
weird
name?
Dragon Ball coincidence thing there where everything's named after food.
That's what I mentioned earlier. Was like the Kakarot thing, the carrot.
This is really This is from
Are they
a
really
website
slamming
that
olive
is
oil there?
really weirdly having hot takes about olive oil.
Why?
In more than one Popeye cartoon, Olive actually hits, strikes, and/or beats the heck out of the luckless sailor. Despite this, and her lack of any sex appeal, Popeye's undying love for olive oil persists throughout the sailor's career.
Oh my god.
That's a weird hot take.
Abusive relationship.
Ham Gravy.
Popeye.
Heavy level of misogyny in the Popeye fandom there.
Yeah. From both sides, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's Ham Gravy there. He looks like a lame-o Popeye.
Olivia.
You mean less jacked
Olive Oil's beating the
Popeye?
shit out of
When you say
Popeye.
lame-o?
He is noticeably less jacked, yes. But it's more
Well,
about
you
how he
keep-
carries himself.
Keep reading it, James. We have a
You
little
got
bit more
it.
to talk about, but if you come across anything interesting, let us know.
Will do.
This is a little bit of self-serving promotion here, but also I think just fun discussion because we don't often pull back the curtain and talk about our content in a revealing or in-depth way. But we have a show that's been airing on the channel lately called Ryan's Bargain Bin, and if you haven't seen it, I urge you to watch it because it's been excellent. And the basic premise of the show is that Ryan, who's always a great salesman and looking for great deals, not snake oil, but he gets a finite amount of money every week from a wheel that's spun, and he has that much amount of money to buy games and impress his friends.
Yes, it's like a poor man's QVC, as
Yeah.
you call it.
Very poor.
And I'm my own channel. All of you have been a part of it, so it's been a really fun journey creating the show with everybody. Look at us here! Wow, this was Ladies Night on Ryan's
So
Bargain Bin,
young.
a roaring success. Do you remember
So
that,
who
Elise?
I,
You
it
quoted
was a really
yourself
fun
quoting
one.
yourself right there.
Did you cut this one, Dan, or did Ryan cut Ladies Night?
I think Ryan did Ladies Night.
I cut Ladies Night.
It's all a fever dream.
It is like, and I know that because we worked with Ryan on the inception of the show, but then Ryan's just taken it and ran with it. But then Ryan also had to go to you, Dan, and be like, here's what the show's going to look like in the edit. So you guys have just been cooking up a, dare I say, nightmare buffet in the best
That's
way
a really
possible.
solid term for it. I don't think I've ever heard Nightmare Buffet before.
It's a very
yeah,
graphics intensive show. Yeah, sorry, Dan, go.
No, just trying to live in your head for a week at a time while making that show was interesting, man.
I felt bad. Yeah, I laid a bunch of notes.
Yeah. Well, it's also, the bins of unlabeled material. It's like here's all the elements, and it's like Santa's sack of toys.
Oh yeah, just the way
no
I don't organize anything. Yeah, I can see that.
Correct.
That may be representative of the bins in the show in which our bodies are superimposed.
Yes, that's exactly a metaphor for what it is. But what you said at the beginning, Elise, is I love how the show is one of those weird shows that wouldn't just exist without any one person here, because it's like James. I didn't come up with, James came and was like, hey, you should sell some cheap games, and then we kind of both came. All of us were like, hey, came up with the shitty QVC thing, and then I kind of ran with it in the edit and added some more shit to it. And then Dan has
picked up the
held up,
pile of shit and pushed it further down the hill.
The pile of shit and made it consistent across the other episodes.
I will say I came to you and said you should sell some games. But I understand. I understand because James was in the. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It was one group meeting. I remember James elaborating a lot of it.
But James is very vital. Is very vital to the.
Sorry, guys. I found out that Bluto, they had to create a new character called Brutus, when they were making a new cartoon strip for Popeye. So obviously, Bluto. So then they were like, well, we'll do Brutus because it's just close enough, but this way we won't get sued. But it turns out the company that they thought would be able to sue them over the rights to Bluto didn't even have those rights, so they could have used Bluto anyway. So they created, to avoid an erroneous error, they basically made Brutus. But then that led me to the relationship between Popeye and Bluto. Apparently they were friends for a really long time until Bluto was mind controlled by the Sea Hag, which is another character I had never heard of, who is just like an old lady.
Can any of these characters be used on Ryan's
Is she a
Bargain
bitch
Bin?
too?
Doesn't say that, but based on the tone of people that write a lot about Popeye, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they feel. Sorry, Elise, what were you saying?
I was asking if any of these characters can be used on Ryan's Bargain Bin. What's the legality? Are they up for grabs?
I would assume not.
Sounds
They
like
seem
no
like
one
pretty
ever-
valuable. Popeye is a pretty valuable IP as far as I can tell.
I used to work for the man who owns the IP for Popeye. Actually,
No, what?
No.
Really?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Avi Arad, the Spider-Man producer, owns Popeye, and a giant Popeye.
Wait, hold on. You don't describe Avi Arad as the guy who owns Popeye. That's
it's true.
Of all of his accomplishments.
I know. But
Why did you lead
Popeye
with that?
Stole from.
Why did you
Yeah,
say
I-
that at the very beginning?
just remembered that I was like, man, I used to work with a guy that had a giant Popeye statue. And I'm like, why did he have that giant Popeye statue? Oh, yeah, he owns Popeye.
It's like, this is what I am most proud of.
But yeah, I had to go look through a whole bunch of old comics and just kind of organize them a couple times. Oh, yeah. Shit like
There
that.
you go.
Is that the Sea Hag?
That looks like the Sea Hag dealing with both Brutus and Bluto at the same time.
Sea Hag has
Whoa.
herpes, I think.
Yeah, she's definitely got skin condition.
Barnacles.
Oh, that makes more sense. Mm-hmm. Can I say,
but yeah, Ryan.
to step
Oh, sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
just Ryan's Bargain Bin? I think my favorite thing about it, despite the fever dream nature of it, is how just earnestly Ryan wants to impress you guys to buy a game. Like, I think there's always some pretense. Whether he wants a pizza or it's like a chill day with the dudes or it's ladies, there's always some pretense to it. But he legitimately wants you guys to like and love and enjoy these games, and you never do. And there's something about how much he wants it and how much no one will ever give it to him that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you enjoy that, because to me that's one of the parts I'm worried about with when I edit this show, is because I'm like the whole conceit. I love the idea of shitty QVC, right? But then at the end of the day, why am I selling you guys these games, and why do I give a shit so much? And will the audience care, or even question that? Is definitely crossed my mind whenever I'm editing it. I'm like, okay, what is, like all this I think makes logical internal sense, but at the end of the day, why am I so concerned about selling the units? And so hopefully just no one thinks about that.
Yeah, I don't think people come to Funhaus for continuity and things making a ton of sense, honestly.
Plot.
I mean, for me, it's always a struggle because, and this is a secret, director's commentary secret, I would buy all the games. I find them delightful, and I always think the choices are wonderful. But, for the escalation of the episode, most of the time, gotta say no. Gotta say no. I wish, gotta be the straight man.
Are gonna be epic. I won't say anything else.
I'm pretty excited to see it myself.
Me too. Especially the finale.
Yeah, both of them, episode 5 and 6, are going to be pretty nice little wrap up to the series.
Series wrap up? I thought it was just a season.
Or season. I'm sorry, season wrap up. Yes.
Okay.
I think you have an option to renew, Ryan. Mm-hmm. It's up to you.
It's funny being get a little leverage here on Ryan's bargain bin. I like it.
It's the first time you've had leverage.
I think the show proves you're not a good negotiator, honestly.
Season 2, I want a pizza for every episode, okay? Before the episode starts, on my desk, or else I'm not hitting start record on that OBS.
No!
Make sure Omar gets it to me. Mm-hmm. That's all I want.
Oh, we should.
Anyway.
Oh my God. We should do like a Ryan's. Oh man, I shouldn't say this on the air. Because it probably won't happen.
Someone will steal it? Wait, someone else steal
No, in case it didn't happen, or, it loses the luster. But if we should do a Ryan's Bargain Bin pizza party where, like, everybody that's been involved, gets invited to a pizza party.
Oh, that sounds great.
That'd be so fun.
Everyone gets delivered. That's if we were like a famous... Oh, I was just going to say, if we were a big production with money behind us, we would, to promote the show, we'd send out personal pizzas to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With iPod classics in them, too, for the swag bag.
I can just go on an
animatronic
and
band.
Slices. Mm-hmm. What? What'd you say, Dan?
I said I wanted an animatronic band.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. I'd love one of
But
those
you're
too.
telling us you delivered single slices of pizza from Sparrow?
Yeah, I would do anything for the Ryan's
he would do
Bargain
it.
Crew.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying you had a job.
Yeah, me too.
At one point in life where you delivered single slices of pizza to people. I was like, what kind
He delivered single slices of Sparrow to Avi Arad.
He loves dried mangoes. If you ever if you ever see Avi Arad around, get him a bag of dried mangoes from Trader Joe's. It's his favorite thing to eat and munch on all day. So that's just a little tip from you.
Okay, great. Good to know.
Someone put that on trivia, IMDb, please.
Ham Gravy's first name was Harold, apparently. So his name was Harold Ham Gravy.
I can't get over when
he was in the West, he was referred to as Three Gun Gravy.
I mean, I know sausage gravy. I've just never heard of ham gravy as a thing that exists.
Ham gravy and olive oil sounds so disgusting. Like I want to just thinking about that together. But as a couple, power couple there.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great note to go out on, James. A great fact. So thank you so much for bringing those flavorful Popeyes facts to the show.
Olive oil had an older brother called Castor Oil as well. I don't know if that's
interesting.
Worth noting. Sorry, go ahead.
Fidel Castor Oil. Ryan and Dan, thank you so much for bringing the magic of Ryan's Bargain Bin to the world. Wonderful.
I couldn't have done it without you. I mean, literally, you just reminded me that it came all from your brain. I'm so sorry.
It didn't, and that's fine. It didn't. I feel like it was like a spark, and then we all developed it. And
that's what I was saying before. Is that it couldn't I loved how it bloomed and blossomed and went into a snowball collaboration that is the weird show that we ended up making. And I just like to remind everyone to stop the spinach emails, stop the monkey rewiring, and stop the video game monkeys playing Pong, and don't eat spinach anymore because they're going to start sending everyone emails. Anyway,
Just get your pet
that's all I
spayed and
had.
neutered.
Buy Ryan's Bargain Bin t-shirts. They're available
Yes.
Oh
now.
yeah.
Ryan uses one
there's a-
soapbox to tell the monkeys to stop.
There's a really fun trivia bit. Ryan did that custom outro to point people towards his merch. And instead of having me do a freeze frame on his face for the disclaimer, he just sat there as still as he could for about a minute and a half.
That's
Nice.
great. That's
Pretty
that's files from the files of Police Squad.
Use that take?
In a oh, you
did?
did?
Oh, I was wondering because I thought I was like, oh, he must have used a freeze frame. But then I
No,
was like,
you're
wow,
just
I
really
must have done
still,
that.
bro.
I was that good at that. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Well, this weekend on the Funhaus channel, we've got some Smash Brothers Ultimate, and Google Trends returns with a new host. Who could it be? And will the curse of the Google Trends host continue?
Almost certainly. Well, we actively look for people who want a way out of Rooster Teeth.
Plus, we mentioned it earlier, but our Hitman 3 series is premiering on Funhaus February 22nd, so look for that. Anything else you guys want to plug?
I'll plug Wrestling with the Week podcast, AEW podcast I do with Scorpio Sky every Monday. Check it out. We kind of wrap up fun stories from the week, and this past week I got a lot of really good, cool behind the scenes stories out of Sky about wrestling.
Awesome.
But you don't have to like wrestling to appreciate them. They're just like wacky entertainment industry stories about like scary people backstage and like that kind of intimidation. But I've been shot. Wait, no, the implication is I shot you.
Yeah.
That's right. He always does that, and it goes blood red because I shot a bullet directly down the barrel of another gun. Or
dead,
you're holding
Cody.
the gun really close to your body, so then the blood drips down over the barrel of the gun. Call it anyway. Oh, that doesn't look good.
Maybe in this game you play as the bullet from the intro, and you just shoot people.
Elise, if you don't have anything else, I want to see if Cody and I can time this, so that way
Yeah, please.
we do it. All right.
Audio listeners, you can just turn off the podcast. No. Just kidding. Hang out. Hang around.
Cody, you probably got to go full on me.
Oh, who's the TD now?
And then you got to pull it off to the side. Bring it this way. Bring it this way, and then you walk in with it. Yeah, there we go. There it is. There it is. Good. Ready? I'm coming. I'm coming.
Slow.
Da-na, da-na, da-da-na, da-na,
How cool.
da-da-na,
Now it's
Go
red.
back and forth and turn it red.
No.
da-na, da-na.
Now show a silhouette of boobs.
Ting, ting.
Perfect. Well, that's our show for this week. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you to our TD Cody, and thank you to everyone watching and listening. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye.